All right. Welcome, everybody. This is Ray of REBELEARS.com with the second part of the Rebel Ears plugins. So today we got some special guests. Later on today, we got Jaquan Grand. We got Pour It Up Sib. We got Katonthemuv. We also got Yatesey Production, and we got Dezzy later on today. So starting off, because it's going to be a minute until they get on, I just want to let everybody know who I am. My name is Ray of REBELEARS.com. The website consists of different packs, different blogs, different podcasts, information dealing with what I learned from interning at Castle Hill Studios, going to school for audio engineering at SAE, from working with different artists and producers. It really all built from the aspect of, just being focused on getting in touch with different individuals, especially trying to build my craft, trying to focus more on the lines of what can I do to move forward, especially music-wise, because it took me some time to get to where I am right now, from my multiple credits to opening up a website to constantly posting on different social medias when it comes to business tips, success tips, book tips, and even motivational quotes to, for those who probably need to, hear some reassurance on how to move forward or things of that nature. It helps me on the aspect of, every day is different. So I might need some, insight for the day to like help me to move forward. And it really actually shows. People comment all the time telling me, thank you for sharing this. This is good information. And then also yesterday, YL and I just put out the free sample pack, the mix template. And the mix template is basically, stock a stock template. So all the plugins that you will have automatically on Pro Tools that you don't even have to buy, all you have to have is Pro Tools. Soon as you open up the mix template, you can go ahead and use it right off the bat. So you can open the template and then import your session in there and just organize it the way that it's already constructed. It's very easy to use, and it's one of my favorite templates so far, because this was my basic one I used when I was first working with Steve Fabicki, because there was a lot of plugins that I had at the moment. So it took me some time to build up my plugin catalog, because plugins are expensive, but they are worth it, especially if you're working on a mainstream project. You're going to need all the plugins that they have, because let's say there's a plugin that they have that you don't have, and you open up the session and you send it back to them. It's going to sound completely different from the session that they have. So that's something you want to watch out for. Another thing with the mix template, like I said, it's all stocked. One thing I do like about it is it emulates to an extent Steve's mix template. The only difference is there's a few Waves plugin that's not on the stock template that you have to purchase. So like the R compressor, the Puig Child 670. I think there's another plugin I'm trying to think, but mainly those are the two he used generally. And I made my own template that we're gonna put on the website probably in another 2-3 weeks, because YL is actually working on his ebook right now, because I released one, I think it was like a few months ago, 10 quick tips to be a successful audio engineer. And it's been very beneficial for me, especially moving forward with different artists, different producers, different engineers, different clients, different studio owners. It really helped. And I just love the fact that I can use it for the benefit of, learning how to run a session, how to run a session from home, run a session from any studio, because I was blessed to be able to go to Castle Hill Studios and use their equipment anytime when I was interning. I don't intern there now. I stopped interning there, I think, like 2017, 2018. And since then, I book sessions at Castle Hill Studios. I know YL, he has a session. I think he has a session today, actually. So he's not going to be on the live stream today, but he will be on the next Rebel Ears plugins. And a few things that I want to let everybody know for today. We are going to be putting out a discount code to get 50% off on all the packs that we have. So right now we only have 2 to sell for right now. We're going to have more coming up in the near future. So we got the slime preset pack, and then we also have the 420 pack. Now the slime preset pack is actually one of my favorites because it actually was when Steve and I was working on Mike Will made his Ransom 2 project, and there was Young Thug was on the project, and I had to work on it, and I was inspired by the actual plugins because they were actually the same plugins that Steve and I were using. So I decided to, create a similar preset to the actual quality of Young Thug. And right off the bat, I was comfortable with using it, and then from there, I went to go ahead and build from, using it. And one thing I do love about using new plugins, because like there was some plugins on the Ransom 2 that I didn't have that I had to purchase. It was an eye opener knowing for the fact that I could go ahead and go to the studio and just, work on anything I would like to. And from there, when I got with Steve, he told me that there was, let me see, I'm trying to remember, because Ransom 2, it was so much we had to do. I had to work on, let me see, it was Ray Shrimmer, it was Migos, 21 Savage, YG, Lil Yachty, Young Thug. That one project got me so many credits. It's crazy. And, that's what happens when you actually focus, knowing exactly what you want to do and where you want to go. And from there, it actually helped me to become better with working with different artists' vocals, working with different producers, because Mike Will, he has a catalog of producers under his belt. I know, like, plus 30 Rock and so many more. Like, 30 Rock is amazing producer. He produced one of my multiple favorites of mine, like King's Dead, that was on the Black Panther album with Kendrick Lamar, J-Rock, and Future. That was one of my favorite productions by him. He also produced Cardi Barty and multiple other stuff. He actually produced The Box, too, with Roddy Ricch. So it was just fun knowing for the fact that I was dealing with some, like, high-class producers. And from Ransom 2, I remember, well, before Ransom 2, I was working with Steve Hibicki on Shrimp Life 2. And then after Ransom 2, that's when I was working on Trouble's project, Edgewood. Like, it was fun because I literally, I was doing all the clean edits for the whole project. So I did the clean edits for Trouble's Edgewood album, which was fun. There was a lot of things I had to learn because, with the industry, you got to be quick on your toes. You can't just, stop from, saying like, okay, I'm gonna need a day or two. If they give you a time limit, it got to be done. So I had to mix I had to do the clean edit for the whole project in like a week. I think less than a week actually, because I had to get all this, all the tracks. And then from there, I had to go ahead and clean it because there was so, like, Trouble, he's a dope artist. It was just a lot of cussing. But of course, when it comes to the industry, that's something that you might have to see. So when it comes to that, it was easy for me to, like, okay, let me go ahead and tweak these parts out, go ahead and cut the cussing. And then from there, I had to make sure everything was balanced. I had to listen to each track again because there was sometimes that you miss one word. And, when you miss a cuss word and have it on the radio, the label gets charged. And then, of course, that coming out of your pocket because you're the engineer who actually did the clean edit. So that's something that you have to worry about. And then after the Trouble album, I was with Steve when he was at Astro Studios. No, yeah. It used to be Zach Studio, but that was Astro Studios when Steve was working on Trim Light 3, and that was fun to work on too because he was working on so many songs on the project. I think it had a total of 27 songs because it was like Sway Lee, then Slim Jimmy, and then Ray Shrimmer. They had 9 songs on each album. It was like basically 3 albums at once. And, you know, it was good to know on the fact that it was Steve Hibicki, it was Randy, and it was Jason Joshua, who was the main mixing engineers of the whole project. Assistant engineer. And it was just fun knowing for the fact that like even Jason Joshua is someone I want to meet because he worked on some of the biggest hits from Beyonce Formation to working with Drake, Kendrick Lamar, YG. Like his list is big. And even like Justin Bieber, Daddy Yankee, like his criteria is crazy. And I learned a lot of tips from watching Dave Pensado's videos, seeing Jason Joshua, and I just learned a lot from the fact that he was somebody that had experience, was in the music industry, and I literally worked on the same project as him. And then even Randy, he was, I remember Steve told me a story. He was he mentored Randy actually. They knew each other for years, and I'm trying to remember if Steve told him to come to Atlanta because I think he lived in Wisconsin also to work with Ray Shrimmer. And from there, he's now their traveling engineer. Like I think he lives in LA now with them, and he's in the studio all the time with them. So it was fun to actually see, you know, that in the open from Randy, talking to him on the phone a few times, very humble person, learning some tricks of the trades from Steve and Randy, and then finding out that Randy also mixed Sway Lee's single Guatemala. And yeah, that was the song. And from there, I've been doing a lot of independent stuff. I know, well, Steve still send me tracks here and there that I work on, but most of the time now I don't. It was very consistent because it was a lot that I had to learn. There was a lot that was time-based. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm going to send it to you, send it to me, whatever you can. No, it would be like, I'm going to send it to you. I need it done before like 7 p.m. And it might be like 12, 1 o'clock. And I might not even be at the house. So I might have to go ahead and tell him like, okay, it'll be done at 7. Send it to him by like 6:45, 6:50, because that's how, you know, the industry is. You got to put in the work to, you know, get to where you want to go. So my goal was to actually build credits, which I have done. My next goal is to get my first plaque, which I know it costs like $250, $300 to get. Like if you have like a plaque for credits, yeah, you got to pay for your own plaque. You don't just get it mailed to you. It comes out of your pocket. And then I also want to one day get a Grammy. That's a goal of mine. And I know for a fact it is possible. It's just on the fact that I'm probably just going to have to be patient enough to know that it is coming in the near future. I do want to work on a project with YL and I from, you know, picking different producers that we're connected with, having a project with different artists that we linked up with, probably have DJ Wave host it. You know, just a lot of ideas that we coming out with. But that is an idea of mine. I don't just want to be audio engineer. I want to be an executive producer of multiple projects. That's a goal of mine right now. And it is possible for the fact that I know exactly the steps that I need to take, because I remember seeing Mike Will in the studio all the time working with like many acts. And I actually got the chance to sit down, watch how he worked in the studio. Even there was a time when he was in the live room, it was just me and him. And, you know, I asked him a few questions. I know he was busy. He was on the phone with a few artists because he was trying to call to get the tracks itself. Like, of course, he sent the production, They record to it. They send the file back to, I think it was Steve. Yeah, it was Steve that they send the track to. And this was at Tree Sound Studio, which is an amazing studio. They have so many plaques from Justin Bieber, Beyonce, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Outkast, like the list goes on. So it was good to be in that environment, knowing that you was actually within that spectrum of talented individuals. And it was a good way for me to learn on what I need to do, especially starting my own company, REBELEARS, and making the right moves instead of, saying you're going to do this and it doesn't come out as the way you plan. So that's something that you do have to take account of. And even with that, it was amazing for the fact that learning from different producers, artists, engineers, those are the three main ones I'm usually focus on because that helped me to get where I am. And from there, I acquired new clientele from, let me see. Well, working on Ransom 2, I actually worked on it was a contest. I'm trying to remember who was a contest. It was something that dealt with Red Bull. So I had to deal with the client of Red Bull when it came to like some of the sessions because I had to send them the stems. So that's basically having all the track outs, having all the tracks individually, and making sure that you print the effects of the plugins within it. So just in case if like they perform it at a radio station and they just want the instruments, they don't have to have the plugins itself. And it's actually helpful on the fact that people do this all the time, and I was just new to it. And from there, it helps me to be a better producer, a better engineer, but also a better individual when it comes to building clientele from, seeing how different artists work with different engineers. Every artist, in my opinion, should learn how to mix their own music or have a friend who knows how to mix so they can help them. And that's something that was beneficial for me because it helped me to get to where I am right now. And we're going to be getting our first guest here in a minute, just trying to get everything set up from getting with YL about the 50% off on packs that we do have. And then it's just a lot that we do have going on. It's just staying focused on the goal ahead. And the goal is let everybody know at the website, let people know on the ins and outs of the music industry, let them know exactly what I learned from different producers and artists, and then go from there. So right now, I'm gonna go ahead and pause this with, let me see. Not gonna pause it really. I'm gonna just, y'all probably gonna still hear me, just trying to get everything put together with the special guest, the 50% discount. You can go ahead and go to the REBELEARS.com website and go ahead and download the free mix template. That I said is by YL and I. And like I said, I've been using it for a while and it's very beneficial. And like I said, it's helpful, especially if you're trying to build your craft. Let me see. Okay. About to get our first guest here in a minute. And he is a good friend of mine, Paul Upset. We actually had an interview a while back. I didn't load it up yet because still got a lot of other episodes got to load up on the podcast. But his will be coming out in the next few weeks. Very talented producer, good friend of mine. Let me see. Who else did I worked with? I remember I met Music Soul Child multiple times at Castle Hill Studios when Dan Cohen was alive, rest in peace. It was when I was first interning at Castle Hill Studios when I first met Music Soul Child because I was like, he looks familiar. And then I asked Dan, is that Music Soul Child? He was like, oh yeah, that's one of my longtime clients. And I was shocked because normally when you go to a studio, of course, you see artist clients coming back and forth. But I was just amazed by Music Soul Child because he's like, in my opinion, a living legend when it comes to like R&B music. He had a great catalog of like heartful music, and I really respect his vibe, especially like at his platform. And then I met his manager too. I asked him in-depth questions about the music industry, how to, stay relevant, how to keep moving, how to tour. And it was very beneficial for the fact that he wasn't closed off on just keeping the information to himself. It was helpful to the fact that anything I had a question for, he was open to answer. And there's people who are open to, give that kind of information out because some people feel like they don't have to. So right now, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my first guest. Actually, it's a duo, Pour It Up Sip and Katonthemuv. So let me go ahead and bring them in.
What's up?
What's good, family?
What's up? How y'all doing today?
Great. How are you?
Oh, man, wonderful. Just working on the live stream, got the website open, and now I got y'all on. Well, I won't take up too much of your time, but I do have some specific questions for y'all, especially as an artist and a producer working together. How does that work out? Because I know a lot of people talk about how they want to, be in a relationship and build off that, but I've seen people talk about it and not really stay focused. And I know y'all been working for years. So how did that work out?
Ladies first.
Well, I will say it's all about putting the time in to understand how each other person operates, how they understand, how you need to talk to them, the etiquette, the tone, the understanding. For us, it's been a little like we've had our ups and downs because I'm a new artist, so he's been in the game for like 15, 16 plus time, years. So I just been pretty much trying to soak up everything that I can from him, and he's been trying to understand what type of artist I am, the market that I represent, and just really trying to soak up that knowledge as well, understanding how that world works. So I think it's been great. I think
it's definitely been a journey, man. It's been a beautiful journey though. Like, just when I say from an engineering and producing aspect, like finding the artist and locking in with them is probably one of the best things that you could ever do because like when you doing sessions, you running sessions, you got to be on point. You know what I'm saying? It might be something an artist asked for, and you got to pretty much already know where to go and how to do that because somebody paying for your time. So like when you working with an artist and you building with them, these are the times that you can actually experiment and learn what some of the things that and learn how to create. You know what I'm saying? When you creating your own sauce or specifically the sauce for that artist, you basically had that time where you don't have that much pressure on you, and it's like it ain't like, okay, I got to finish this because this person trying to get this session done. You know what I'm saying? So now I can really experiment, go in, and I can play around with stuff, and it's no pressure. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the best time really to experiment and learn, and then you building your bond with an artist, and it's like when you build them connections and you're working with somebody that is not just like a just like it when you got a better relationship with them, you know what I'm saying? It stuff you feel it better. Should I say? I say like the music you working on, like it carry like a place in your heart. You feel me? Instead of just something being just a job. You feel me?
Yeah, it's like y'all can automatically sync because y'all already know each other's vibe for being together for X amount of years. But from there, y'all can go in the studio, y'all catch the vibe, y'all automatically know like, okay, I know she's gonna like this. And then you might be writing a verse or a part and she's like, okay, I might need sis to assist me because I do know with some producers and artists, they do share like writing credits. Like there might be a line that she might not know. I know Henry does that a lot of times. And I know with y'all because you have a in-house studio, especially during COVID. So it's like whenever, and that's amazing in itself that you don't really have to go to the studio. But I do know that a lot of people have like in-house studios and like don't use it for like 2-3 weeks goes by. What helps y'all to stay consistent with just coming out with like different tracks, get different productions and stuff of that nature?
Well, actually, you know what I'm saying? We since it's kind of been like when we first started, I was pretty much doing everything, like all of her stuff, you know what I'm saying? But now it's at a point to where she done branched off and she got different producers like Henry, you know what I'm saying? She working with other different producers and different studios she going to as well. So like where they need me just to record, that's what I do. And I fall back and let her have her creative process with other people because that's helping expand her brand. She building her connection with other people and doing all that as well, you know what I'm saying? Not just having to wait on me for everything or try to get me to do everything, you know what I'm saying? Which that's where we was at the beginning stage. Cause you know what I'm saying, I was more focused on trying to craft her sound and stuff. But like now, like we branching off and she doing things on her own, you know what I'm saying? So it's beautiful, you feel me?
Yeah, that's actually good because I do know like there's some people who like, okay, a producer might be the executive producer of the artist's whole project, right? And I can see that in a way like how it started off with you and Kat in the beginning, that's how it was formed. But there's some producers automatically like, you know, I got to do everything for this artist, like kind of like in a way management. And it really like tears a rift from the artist and the producer even being in the same studio. So that's a good thing on, you know, having enough space for each other so y'all can, you know, like you might be in a room producing, she might be in a room collaborating with a different producer, just, you know, building catalog.
Right. And that's why I say like you can also do, like that's why I advise anybody who producing and stuff to also learn the engineering, because at the end of the day, I don't have to produce everything for her. And if I did, that would only give her one type of sound. So she got other people she working with. So I still can get a credit with an engineering credit. You feel me? If that's what I got to do. If I got to mix, if I got to, you know, some chords and vocals, I got to do some effects on something. I ain't really got to worry about the beat. I can just do that. You know what I'm saying? So really just whatever you could do, learn as much as you can. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You could do as much as you can. You can do anything, man. If you learn how to do anything in the music industry, even if you songwrite, you know what I'm saying? You could be a songwriter, and that'll help get your foot in the door or help you get a credit on a situation instead of you just having to be focused on one thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, but not to say that you shouldn't try to master what you're doing, but you know what I'm saying, put your 10,000 hours in, but also understand that there's other avenues and people got multiple talents, you know what I'm saying, multiple ways to help out.
Yeah, I believe being a jack of all trades, especially when it comes to music, so you don't have to be dependent. Let's say someone's mixing a part and you like, bro, why is it so high? Like it's ringing my ears. And you know automatically like you gotta turn that down, bring this up. Yeah, it actually makes a producer a better producer because you know automatically like, okay, I like my kick in the 808 sounding, and I gotta mix it so they can blend together, the snare hitting too hot. Like stuff in that nature, it helps you out to be like the best thing in the room. So Kat might be in the room with the engineer and you could be like, okay, go ahead, punch in from right here. We can add a bridge right here. So the creative control is actually beneficial knowing all that you know.
Right.
Definitely makes the process smoother.
Yeah.
Once the artist, because you know, like now we work fast. Like now it's like I know what I want now. Like I have in my artist identity per se. So it's like I just be like, babe, all right, this is what I'm hearing. Let's try to see if we can make this happen. You know what I'm saying? Or I will go with other producers and come back and bring some different sound, and then he'll sauce it up. You know, like so helps you keep motivated.
Right. Efficient. You know what I'm saying? Work when you got your workflow.
Yeah.
Streamlined and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
So let me ask y'all this. When it comes to y'all working together, because I do know, Kat, you speak, what is it, Dominican Republic?
Or, I speak Spanish, yes.
Okay, Spanish, I'm sorry. So, okay.
Dominican Spanish.
Yeah, so you speak in two different languages because I heard like your project and I know how you blend the two together. And then y'all actually travel to the Dominican Republic to record one of your songs. How does that work, you know, working with like two different languages and you bring it out in your music?
Honestly, so it's like, it's good. And then sometimes it's like, it drives you crazy because you just getting like all types of like sometimes I have to kind of change my mind. Like, okay, I'm like Americanized Katonthemuv, like, and then it's like this is the island side of Katonthemuv. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm both. I was born and raised in DR, so it's like it's beautiful that I get to just blend stuff. So I kind of like just go with what's most natural to me. Like, for example, I can just start freestyling and vibing and catching a vibe in Spanish. And then if I hear something in English, like I'll throw it in there. Or, you know, sometimes it could be a little confusing, like a little like too much, you know, like sometimes you get too much from both sides. So, yeah.
But I can see how it works out because you can work with the artist internationally.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely a blessing being able to work with different people, you know what I'm saying? But it's definitely cool just seeing her process. Because, you know, sometimes she be wanting to say a lot, but it's like translating that from a Spanish idea to English idea. Like, you know, sometimes Spanish, they be having slang. They might say something, but it don't even mean the same thing it do in English. So it's like, okay, now we got to figure out how to make this sound like the idea of what you're trying to say, but trying to make it sound better in the language that we're trying to, you know,
trying to make it fit the meaning. Right. It's the hardest part.
Without putting in too many words or too many syllables and shit sometimes. So
like sometimes like one word of English, one sentence, like 3 words could mean like a whole sentence in Spanish. Like, and it's totally different. So like lately I've been working on just simplifying my writing. Cause so I used to pack up the melodies a lot, like pack up the lyrics. And then now I'm learning to just it's songwriting, you know what I'm saying? It's just becoming a better songwriter, knowing when to flow, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so it's been a process. Like I'm loving it.
Yeah, and then I do know. I was talking to Henry. I think he talked about it a while ago. I know that Sip just said it too. Like you and Henry are working on a track or two, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to hear it too.
Oh yeah, it's fire. It's dope. We're gonna do a couple more things. Like we're gonna work like.
Oh, yeah, and then I know Henry been working too. So with Sip, when you working with different producers, I know how does that work on your end? Because I do know some producers they collab on the drums or the instruments. What's your signature when you working with like a collab? Real quick.
Man, usually I ain't gonna front. Like usually most niggas hit me up for them weird vocals sounds. Like I don't know. Like I just like to take vocal samples and just like do crazy shit with them and like reverse them and like chop them up and just have it sounding totally different. And then like, so I just like I don't know. That's pretty much like one of my main ways. It's like making these crazy like vocal sounds and shit, vocal like boxes and just any type of just like vocal samples and shit. I like to like do crazy stuff with them.
Okay, so with Kat, because I do know with artists they have their own like writing process. What helps you if you like get like a writer's block? Is there like some type of training that you do to help you to break that?
Actually, yeah. At first I didn't have one, so I was just like not write for like weeks. Like I'll be like, my inspiration is gone. Yeah. But now, like for the past year, I've been really just sometimes I just go and like listen to African jazz or like bossa nova, like just instrumentation, just to kind of register, right? Like just to let it register and just feed my imagination. And then without me even trying, I'd be like doing other things and I just be like, nah, 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 like something just come over and I'd be like, oh, I gotta write it down real quick. So they just keep coming. So I listen to a few, like I have like a few artists that I listen to or like a type of music. Like I love African music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes I go back to the roots and I go listen to some like super old reggaeton or like super old just old school stuff, you know what I'm saying? And then I'll just let my mind kind of like relax from all the listening to other artist stuff. Like I just chill and listen to jazz, like African jazz, like different types of jazz, just instrumentation that helps me just kind of relax my mind and not overthink stuff, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense too. Like changing the vibe of the scene. You might be working on a trap and you might just need a little jazz. And then it might even help you to create the hook or something. So yeah, I heard someone, well, I remember I met this one guy when he has writer's block, he just freestyled the whole day. Just look around and just start freestyling like I'm sitting down in a chair and, you know, stuff of that nature. And he said that helps him out. Instead of having writer's block, he actually rap a verse about what he did that day. So I can see that. Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. So Sip, with you, because I know every producer had their favorite plugins or software. And I remember we did this before, but I know like because of COVID, it's been months since we've seen each other. I don't know if you're using any new plugins or any new software. Like what's like your to-go-to as of right now, like 5 of them?
So like as of right now, this is probably gonna sound crazy, but like one of my go-to plugins that I've really been using like all the time has been Edison.
Edison?
Studio, yeah, Edison. Because what I've been doing, right, is I've been using like I just been coming up with like crazy ass ideas and like making weird ass sounds, and it's like, oh man, like okay, so I just record it into Edison, and then once I record it into Edison, it's a sample. So now I got a sample, and then now I just take this sample, and then I do even more stuff to it. You know what I'm saying?
So when you say it's like a sample, is it like saturation, kind of like you put it on tape?
Yeah, because basically all you got to do on FL, right, is they got a plug-in called Edison that you can put like on your master track or whatever, just wherever you put it. But all you do is just whatever you playing, whatever you playing. Like if I'm playing anything on whatever VST I'm using, I can just press record on Edison, and then it's gonna record it whatever I did, like whatever I just played, or whatever sound I just played, or whatever anything that's coming, any type of sound that's coming through, it's gonna record that. Even the clicker, like if you got a clicker on, it's gonna record that sound too. So like, I just been recording whatever the fuck sound I do. Cause that's how I be coming up with ideas sometimes. Like, you know, I don't even know where it's going. I'm just playing some shit. I'm just like, okay, all right, this sound cool, but let me see if I can really just freak this shit. So I put it to Edison, and then I drag it down in the FL. So now I made a little sample. You know what I'm saying? So now it's a sample. And now with this sample, I could chop it up even more. I can reverse it. I like to drag it into Arcade. I've been using Arcade too.
Oh yeah, Arcade. Yeah, a lot of people use Arcade.
Yeah, it got a lot of, you know what I'm saying? And I don't even like just using the melodies on there. I just like using the vocal chops and the vocal samples, you know what I'm saying? Because, all right, or I could just, I don't even got to use they sample. You could just plug the sample that you just made into Edison, and then I could drag that into Arcade and just use some of the parameters and stuff they got on there, and then make shit sound even crazy too. So like, I just been doing that, man, just like experimenting, but definitely been using Edison a lot, like just for that, just for making my own samples. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so we need 4 more. You can go down the list real quick if you want, unless you want to, you know, give a description on why you like it.
Okay, so like I said, Arcade. I definitely like Arcade because that's you know, it got a lot of different vocal samples and just different type of sounds. Like when you just need that extra, okay, like you might need a fucking horse galloping or some shit. Like it might, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you make that shit sound like some hi-hats or something. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you can find weird sounds and just all type of stuff that's just like, oh, that's that extra little ear candy I need. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. Omnisphere, definitely gotta have the Omnisphere. That's
of course.
Yeah. And the Arturia collection, that's definitely one that got the vintage sounds. Like that has like, I forgot how many different VSTs it is in that whole collection, but it's
a lot.
Yeah, man. And it's definitely worth it. So if you can get that, I would definitely recommend that you get that one. What else have I been using?
Yeah, just one more. I'm surprised you didn't say, like, normally people say Nexus, but you know.
Yeah, man, you know, I ain't been on Nexus like that in a minute, just because I wore that shit out so much. Not to say that I don't go back to it every now and then, but like I try to challenge and do something different. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like the Arturia collection, because they got so many like weird sounds and like vintage type sounds that it's just like, oh man. And then you can just, you can start crazy stuff with that. I would definitely say Contact, just because it has so many just different banks And I like the way that the banks like they got one. It's like a flute, right? But like some of the buttons that you press, they don't play a sound. It just changed the way that the flute play. You know what I'm saying? So you could really make it sound like more organic with some of the bank sound bass and stuff in Contact. So I would definitely say Contact too. And then they got Exhale. Exhale is another product by Output, which they make arcade as well. And
Output makes so much.
Yeah, and they got Exhale. I use that one too, just for the, like I said, I like to make different vocals chops and vocal sounds and stuff. So not arcade, but Exhale, they got a bunch of those sounds on there as well.
Okay, so real quick, Kat, when you're recording, right? When you get in the process of walking in the studio, do you have, like people say, ritual? Is there like a method that you have every time you go in, like some breathing technique, or you have to have like an incense or something?
No, not really. Other than maybe smoking a blunt and having some.
Hey, that's your method, yeah.
Some hot turmeric and ginger cinnamon tea, and just sipping.
Okay, that's good.
I like the lights. Like I need to have my lights. Lights are a big thing. Like different lights, like this. They inspire me. It's just it puts me in a whole mindset. Like to kill it. Like vibe out. Like. But I don't really have like counting M&Ms and shit like before. I don't do that.
Yeah. Some people be, they have their own like setup. Like they have to have like candles all around them. Some people be walking around with sage, change the energy.
I like candles. Yeah, look, gotta have it all the time.
Yeah, but the tea is actually a good method because a lot of people will be, down like drinking water before a session, making sure you're hydrated, making sure, you're not. Your vocals not dry, so tea I recommend that all the time. Like if I'm recording an artist, I ask them like, would you like a cup of tea? Most of them say yeah, especially singers. Like they love honey, and honey is very beneficial, especially if you're going in the booth for X amount of hours.
Right, and also like tea kind of like decompresses you, like it helps you breathe, like it moves the gases around, like it just clears you, it gets you ready to because you got to breathe different when you're recording. So it's like cold water is good, but like too cold is not good. It makes me it's just I breathe different for some reason.
Yeah, it gotta be room temperature for me. I understand.
Yeah, same. So
yeah. But it does make sense, especially like if you have like a 6 to 8 hour session or an all day session. Yeah, you're gonna need honey. If not, you're gonna just be raspy, your throat sore, can't even go to the session the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's happened to me. Shoot.
Oh yeah.
You know what I use a lot? I buy the oregano oil, like the drop, and I like literally put 2 to 3 drops in down my throat before I go to bed, and I sip on hot tea, and then the next day I'm like, whoo, like.
That shit's spicy now, if y'all buy it.
It's spicy, yeah.
That shit gonna burn.
Oh,
don't taste it. Don't taste it. Just put it there. Let it run down your throat.
It's gonna help you clear your mucus up.
Yeah.
Yeah, mucus buildup is a big thing. Like I've been doing research on that, and it just helps you to like breathe easier. Just feels different, and like that is recommended. I would recommend that right there. Yeah. I'm trying to see because there was 2 more questions I have. So for Sip, trying to see. With you working with like let's say a random artist want to hit you up, right? How would they get in touch with you?
You can always hit me up on IG, like to reach out, you know what I'm saying? And then if you know what I'm saying, you got my number, you can always hit me up. I don't just give my number out to everybody like that, but you feel me?
Yeah, I understand. So like if someone wants to hit you up, just DM you?
Yeah, DM me or if you know some of my people, reach out to them, you know what I'm saying, have them hit me up. We can do it like that, but most definitely just the best way would be to DM me, or you can email me as well, pouredupsip@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, if you're serious too. I know a lot of people will be like, hey man, can you like send me 2 beats just to test out, man? Come on, man. You got me, right?
Right, like come on.
Send me a beat.
You know what one producer did? Every time every time someone try to hit him up, like, can you just send me something to just like vibe to? He'll record the audio of him like and send it to them. Hey, I just sent you a free beat, man. You can't be mad at me.
Hey, you can't be mad.
Yeah, it'd be funny because I believe like you should show value to the producer and engineer. Like if you're an artist, of course you guys spend money to, you know, create your project, but you gotta pay, you know, the producer their worth and the engineer what they're worth. Because without the producer, you have acapella. Without the engineer, you have a bad mix. So I understand that. And then with Kat, if someone wants to get in touch with you.
Y'all can hit me up on IG, the same. You know, that's the quickest way. Katonthemuv, KATONTHEMUV. And you can also hit me up at katonthemuv@gmail.com. If you're serious.
If you're serious. Yeah, that's a big thing because, you know, you just don't want random people just hitting you up for no reason.
And they just hit me up for the wrong reasons. Like a lot of people hit me up for the wrong, just to talk, you know. And that's cool, but it's like just to say hi, like super random people. But it's cool, you know. But for business,
leave that in a comment, not a DM.
Yeah, but you can shoot me a DM like if you want to work, you know, if you want to know more about my music and stuff. Yeah. Collaboration.
Well, I want to go ahead and say thank you, Sip and Kat, for, you know, giving me this time to talk to y'all, pick y'all brains a little. I'm gonna hit you up later today, but again, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
All right, no problem, no problems. I'll talk to y'all later.
All right, buddy.
All right. So my next guest I'm about to bring up is Jaquan Grand, a talented artist, engineer, producer, entrepreneur, like the list goes on. I'm gonna go ahead and bring him up real quick. So here he is. Screen went black for a second, but I know he's coming back on. So I met him at SAE when I was going to school for audio engineering, and I met him at his brother at night class, and there was something about him that intrigued me because he wasn't just an artist. He was actually, like I said, an entrepreneur. Like he put money to fund his own company. He had artists under him. He produced like majority of his projects. He wasn't scared to talk to different producers, artists, engineers. He had so many different projects out. I'm trying to remember. It was he has so many songs that I enjoyed. Like you could listen to any of his projects on any streaming sites. Other than that, let me see. I'm trying to remember everything else because I know he performed at so many events I went to. He worked with a lot of artists that I'm linked up with. I remember his last project. He worked with a friend of mine, Jay Nolan. They actually met at one networking event I had. I think it was at Buckhead Saloon. It was like a night off event. It was basically with different people, different backgrounds, from studio owners, creative designers of different clothing lines, artists, producers, graphics designers, website developer. It was just a lot of people who had like different experience that actually opened up for the aspect of me trying to, you know, build with them. And it was fun for the aspect of, you know, just creating something out of nothing, bringing people in just to see their insight. So I got Jaquan in, going to go ahead and bring him in. Here he is. Hey, how you doing, man?
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, I hear you perfectly, man. How you doing, though?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. You know, doing the best I can right now, trying to maneuver through this whole crazy COVID situation and just trying to put some stuff together. But thank you for having me be a part of the show.
Hey, no problem. But I do know COVID did not stop the process with you because you stayed consistent. And then I remember your daughter has an app, right?
Yeah. So I created her a video game called Callie's Cleanup. Took me like 4 to 5 months to actually put it together. It's like a small mobile app game. And just kind of just been working that avenue as much as I can as far as marketing, doing more updates with it, and just kind of just building her legacy as well. As a parent, you know, she's 4 years old, so just trying to have her to have some things in her name, so when she gets older, she can definitely be able to utilize them from a business standpoint.
Yeah, that's smart too, because like I was just describing you, you're not just an artist or producer, engineer, like you're an entrepreneur all around. Because one reason I started this live stream, because you inspired me from your live stream that you invited me to. So again, thank you for that. That was one. And then two, since SAE, you wasn't just focusing on making a project. You was focused on creating the visuals for the project. You and your brother had like different music videos. You was working as the director of all the videos. You was working with different artists that you had under you. You was you funded your own label too. So it was a lot that I learned from you that a lot of people really don't take in consideration on, you know, putting funds in your own, so you can have ownership, and that's what you have.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was definitely one of the just thank you for even putting shining the light on that, just because you're absolutely right, man. A lot of people really don't, you know, focus on the ownership part of it. You know, everybody kind of want to just, you know, whether it be a part of something, sign something, you know, they just want to be a part of something. So I think going in, I always kind of, you know, as far as and this is back in 2013, you know, I was just like, man, wanting to learn more about the business. That's what even connected me to SAE, you know, wanted to learn a little bit more about the business. And just learning more from it, man. You know, just all the stuff that we acquire from school, even before school, you know, I was kind of setting myself up. Like I started my business before I even went to SAE. So we was in SAE 2015. My business got up and my LLC got up and running around 2014. So I was already kind of like going in that direction as far as ownership. So thank you.
Had a business mindset already.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And then after graduated SAE, it didn't stop from there, because you were still going to I remember you were telling me, yeah, man, I'm about to go to another class. I'm like, what? We just graduated. Oh no, it's another school.
Yeah. So after SAE, I definitely started going to another school. I started going to Chattahoochee Technical College for Design and Media, which is over in Marietta. I was staying in Marietta at the time. And I started going there, learning more about visual design, videography, photography, just things of that nature, websites, coding, just everything, man, animation, 3D animation, just learning a lot of different skills that I felt like I can also utilize as an artist. Because when we look back as an artist, right, even when we talk about some of the skill sets we've learned from SAE, learning how to have the knowledge as far as what mixing is, what mastering is, what our actual audio engineer does, that allowed me to be able to kind of understand the jargon. So when I did sit down with whether it be a more professional audio engineer, I kind of understood what they were saying when they was talking about EQs or compressions based off of my knowledge from SAE. Vice versa, even with the old school I just graduated from, you know, understanding more about graphic design and coding. So when I sat down if I wanted to work with the graphic designer, if I wanted to work with a different videographer, I had the opportunity to understand what I want. I understood the vision. I understood exactly how to say and how to get there. And if I couldn't work with that individual, I can do it myself. That was kind of really one of the main things that I wanted to try to make sure I could do.
Yeah, put your input in, knowing exactly what you're talking about, because like I tell everybody all the time, like even with me, there's still stuff I'm learning from social media marketing, email marketing, have your own website, selling product. There's stuff to learn, and people acting like, well, how can I learn it? Google and YouTube.
Exactly. That's like even with this this festival, like I'm grateful that you're able to put something on like this, and you saying me, I inspired you. I was inspired by someone we both know, and Jay Nolan, when he did his festival. I was like, man, I want to do something like that. So you just see how it's like once you take individuals who have the same drive, who wants to, you know, who have like this creativity and who want to create these things, you kind of start seeing how that domino effect starts to happen, where it's just like one person does it, another person does, and it constantly keep growing. I think that's the most important and amazing thing about it. So I'm just grateful to see that you actually took it upon yourself and be like, hey, I'm gonna build my community around this, and I'm gonna do something similar. So it's dope to actually see that you're doing this as well, bro. So congratulations.
Man, thank you. Exactly, because I do believe like you should be inspired by others instead of trying to bring somebody down. Like, oh, he did a live stream, it was okay. you should see it on the aspect of like what you can learn from it, how you can build from it, and then even if you can share it, because Jay Nolan, like, he's very knowledgeable, especially when it comes to the music industry, from his background, from credits, and even with you, like, you all around amazing, because it's not just the music side of it, it's the visual. You doing audio, you doing the visuals, you putting the money behind it, you actually putting, like, even when you came out with your festival, you already had mapped out every artist, every producer, even different aspect when it came to the behind the scenes. Like, you have everybody listed. It was very organized, and that's a big thing in itself. If you wasn't organized, like, I don't even think the way that you transition from SAE to your technical college, it wouldn't have worked in that favor, because you already had the mindset of like, okay, I already got the LLC. I'm gonna go to SAE for audio engineering and learn from there. After SAE, I'm gonna go ahead and learn about like visuals, dealing with coding, graphic design. So what's next for you, man? I gotta know that now.
Well, I'm in school again, which is another thing. So I'm in North Carolina right now. So
oh yeah, I
I'm
remember.
school. Yeah, I'm in school now for gaming and coding. So just a little bit more. So when I was at Chattahoochee, I learned some about coding, but it was more so geared towards like web design. So like building websites. This form of coding is just kind of just understand a little bit more about programming. So how to create basic programs like calculators or things of that nature, just little programs that you can see throughout your laptop or even your desktop or whatever device you're using. So understanding more about that, and also the gaming portion, because I feel like, and the reason why I wanted to jump into gaming portion, that's the reason why I even end up creating my daughter a game, just kind of understanding what I was doing in school. I was like, man, I can take this and create something myself, because we haven't even did mobile programming in school. This was kind of some of the stuff I learned on the fly, and I was able to create something like that for her. But I just feel like when we think about entertainment, we think about music, I feel like everything is kind of switching towards like a lot of gaming. Like so many people is kind of getting into that actual field when we talk about live streaming, with Twitch and all these things, right? So I'm like, man, I want to kind of know the basics behind these things, because we can jump into that field, and whether it be we try to become a gamer, whatever type of lane we want to do, we can. I felt like I wanted to jump in a lane that was a little bit different and kind of understand how it works, how the actual gaming industry works, just because I look at it like, and I was just explaining this to someone because I recently just released a short film. I just released a short film like 2 days ago.
I watched it.
Yeah, man. And I wanted to, and I had people reaching out to me, say they wanted to do something with me, something like that. And I was saying like, man, I'm actually working on something really, really big, kind of centered around that. So I have this 5-part series, which is a spoiler, but I have a 5-part series where I'm gonna have these stories connect. So it's gonna be more so you have some filming aspects of it, some you'll have, of course, some music aspects of it, some some books, all these different things, but it's going to lead into an actual video game, but on a major scale. So I'm creating something like that, just because I feel like when we think about gaming, right, when you think about how gaming is now, whether it be 2K or any other game that people are interested in, you look at how the direction they're going. Most of these games, they have animation in it, right, to actually create the game. Then on top of that, you think about a game like Grand Theft Auto, or like I say, even like a 2K, they also have heavy elements of music, right? So music is heavily embedded into these games, right? You see something like Fortnite, where they had Travis Scott, he can't, he had live stream. So you see music is definitely, is embedded into the game. And so not only do you have the music elements, animation elements, you have some gamers now who also have some small filming elements as far as stories that go throughout the actual game. If you pay attention to some of these games, they have some really impeccable stories. Like, wow, as far as like the actual main storyline, like, it has actual stories where somebody physically had to write a script, and you had to have these different actors. And now even some of the stuff I've been learning about gaming, how they actually create the games, they treat it as it's a full-fledged movie Hollywood production, like a film, as far as how they bring the actors in, how they act out scenes. So I'm looking at all these things. I'm like, man, when people think about gaming, people think about it. Of course, it entertains people, but there's so many different elements. Like even from the audio engineering aspect, like one of my classes, I was learning about gaming and stuff. They had an audio engineer, and he was talking about how he got all his sounds. And I'm looking at like the stuff he was doing. Everybody in my class, they didn't know what he was saying because they was in it just for the gaming portion. I'm sitting there listening to him like, man, everything he was talking about is what we was learning in the SAE. So it just kind of made me feel like, man, all this stuff that I've been learning over the years is starting to kind of mesh together. You know, like everything is kind of starting to combine. So it's not just you got audio engineers on this side, you have music and producers on this side, you have filmmakers and videographers on this side, you have directors on this side, you have gamers on this side. All this stuff is kind of meshed into one now. So I'm looking at all these different aspects and like, man, how blessed and grateful I am to be a part of each lane. If you look at it, you know, because I have connections to each of these roles. So I think the beauty of it is to be able to mesh it together and create something, because like I said, I just kind of, that's something I'm really actually interested in now. And I want to kind of shine some light on that. So my thing really right now is just combining those elements together. Everything I've been kind of talking about, everything I've been working on, just combining those together into one.
And what's crazy, because how you was talking about Twitch, because gaming now is a sport in itself. A lot of people acting like, well, I don't believe that. The guy Ninja from Fortnite is, I'm trying to remember if it was either 50,000 or 500,000 a month he makes.
And I can believe that. I seen something recently, and it was one of the, I don't know if it was Ninja or if it was anybody else who's like high in that gaming world, but they compare his salary of what he make from playing games like annually, and they compared it to the MVP and Giannis from the Milwaukee Bucks, the MVP that we had in NBA this year. Last year, they compared both of their salaries, and the person that was gaming made 10 more million or like $5 more million than somebody that was in the NBA that's an MVP. So you telling me somebody that's in gaming making more than the MVP of basketball right now, as far as from an annual salary. So it just goes to show you there's so much money to be made in that actual field if you know what you're doing, and of course you're working through the right channels, because you're not just, you know, just like even people when think about music, you're not just gonna start doing it automatically, just blow up and get wealthy. I think it's an art to it that you have to actually work on,
especially being consistent too.
Definitely.
And then one thing you were saying, because the storylines of games, I'm not even gonna lie, one of my favorite games of all times is Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
Yeah, with the Disney characters, because it was weird to me, because it was years ago when Blockbuster was open. My mom took me to Blockbuster. It was just a random game I saw. I saw Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and Goofy, and a kid on there. I was like, I'm going to see what this game's about. And the storyline was so amazing. I'm not even going to lie. At the end, I actually had one tear go down my eye, man.
Oh, man.
No, but honestly, I'm not, like, it was one of those games that I don't mind talking about. People like, you like Kingdom Hearts? Yeah, good storyline. It's a great game. You ever played it? Nope. Okay, then. That's like someone saying, like, they never had French fries and ice cream.
Yeah. Kingdom Hearts is definitely a staple growing up.
Yeah.
A lot of kids played that. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, a lot of these games now, man, like even back then, you know, like they had great stories. And I think we sometimes forget that when like sometimes, man, like you have to look at it. Some of these stories from these video games have actually become almost better than some of the films that we've seen, whether it be on TV or going to the movie theaters we've actually went to. And that kind of just shows you how they're starting to kind of like, it's almost like they're starting to combine. Like even I was looking at I think it was This Is the End of Us or The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. I remember with the guy and girl.
Yeah. So
I heard about it.
That game, I haven't had opportunity to play it. However, I know a lot about it based off like my classes and stuff. But just seeing all the different elements of just them creating a video game, it was just crazy. Like all these different jobs, all these different roles. But I think the most fascinating part that I took from it was being able to see all the stuff that these people were doing to create this one product. I had some type of connection to it somehow, whether it be from a music standpoint, whether it be from an animation standpoint, whether it be from a story, regardless. And I think that's the amazing part, because you have some people even right now with artists, right? you have some people who physically create artwork, and you know their songs tell a story. Whether it be you listen to a few of their songs, you're like, okay, cool, they're actually kind of telling the actual story. Some people already kind of have that trait, is what I'm trying to say. They already have that skill. The goal is to be able to apply it to these things, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to, when you put your art out and you want to, you know, speak and kind of just get your word out, you have to be able to do it on a scale that you feel like you're comfortable with being able to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's like even my short film I just released, Anchored, you know, that film, you know, I wrote the script myself. I got the actors together myself. I shot it myself, and I edited it myself. And in that process, it was connected to the reason why I created that short film, because it was acting as the intro to a video that I released from my recently project called Wake Up Call. The song is called No Answer. And I wanted to create a story, a fictional story centered around that song. So it was just kind of just like, I'm going back to what I'm saying as far as having that creativity, having that willpower to be like, okay, cool, I have a camera. I know a few guys who may be willing to do this. Let me see if I can put something together. And it took me like 3 days to actually shoot, and probably like a week or so to kind of just get everything together, only because I'm also doing other stuff like with schoolwork, and like my daughter has a YouTube channel, my son has a channel. So like I'm like managing all that stuff, and like I really be editing their videos and just putting everything together. So there's a lot of different things coming from the Grant camp, but we're actually I'm just literally just content, just because you know, because at one part, you know, once I was afraid to put out a lot of content, only because I'm like, man, I don't want to overshadow people, I don't want to do too much, you know, blah blah blah. But I went into this, I saw this post, one of these great marketing guys that I follow sometimes, and he was just saying how he kind of started to understand, you know, it's not about quality is important, and quantity can be important as well. It just depends on how you play it. But you can't fall in that actual realm where it's like, man, I don't want to do too much because people may not understand. But you got to look at it from this standpoint. If you are a great follower of a person and they're constantly giving you content, you're not going to be upset because you follow this person, you love them. That's just like somebody being, whether it be a Drake fan or a Jay-Z fan or a Nas fan. If these people were to drop every month, do you think their core fans would be upset and be like, man, this is too much to consume? They'll be excited because that's the content. That's like me. I watch anime, and I'm a big Marvel fanatic, right? So like I got Marvel and stuff all on my walls, and I got anime stuff all on my walls. If Marvel released a movie or a show every other week, I will be watching it. I will not be like, man, Marvel, you're doing too much, man. Like I just started, like I would watch it because I'm a follower of it. And I feel like that's the same thing when it comes to being able to put out your content, you know, put out your content to the people that you know that's going to be able to, you know, understand it and connect to it. But in that same regard, don't allow the stigma of, man, am I doing too much, from slowing you down, because that's what kind of slowed me down in the beginning.
And then one thing you did say I could relate to, because you know who Gary V is, Gary Vaynerchuk?
Of course.
Yeah, he's everywhere, social media. And he created this ebook. It was for free on his birthday. It was how to create 64 different content to post on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, all these different social medias, right? And he told us he had a live interview. He was saying, like, I put around over 100 content a day. With the people who wants to like watch my videos and stuff, it's never enough. I can put out 200 videos, 1,000 videos a day. It's never enough because of the consumer.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, that makes sense though, because you could put out 20 videos in one day, and then the next day, what you got?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like it goes it literally is just like, let's look at Sony for an example, right? With them releasing the PS5. Sony, they're, you know, I think they said next month around the 12th or something like that, like November 12th, the PS5 is supposed to come out. I think that's
I'm gonna wait.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait.
However, some stores are already like, yeah, we're already sold out. Do you think Sony would be like, well, man, we already sold out? I think we're just gonna just wait. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to re-up and try to get as many products out, even if they already know that like they're gonna be sold out within that first week or so. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to get the product out because it goes back to the consumer. It's not the people who don't want to get it. It's the consumer who wants to buy it. And I think that's the most important thing. So that's why I look at when I do my content, and I can agree, man, like, I'm human. So sometimes you can feel down when it's like, man, I don't want to overshadow this, but you have to understand at the end of the day, if somebody follows you and they love when you release content, it's never going to be overshadowed, because as soon as you release something, they're going to consume it and they're going to want more, just like you said. So you want to be able to constantly feed that consumer. Don't worry about the masses and the people who aren't paying attention. This is all about that consumer. That's why even me and you, like me and you having a relationship, if I was never ever doing anything, because I was so concerned about people saying like, man, well, you're doing too much, Grand. You shouldn't be doing that. You should need to be calming down. We wouldn't be having conversations about me and my work ethic and kind of how many stuff I've done, because I'll be so concerned about other individuals. I don't try to let that get me down. Like, I have a lot of inspirational moments, and then it come to me, I'm like, man, I want to do this, so that's like, even with the festival, that came to me, I'm like, man, I got that inspiration from Jay Nolan. I was like, man, I think I want to do something similar, but I'm gonna put a spin on it. So now, even going to what I'm working on now, it's the same thing, man. I think that's the beauty of it, just taking what you have and being able to do what you can, and be able to get your point across. So that's definitely my advice on that.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, real quick, I just want to say thank you for being part of the live stream, giving me your time. So real quick, for anybody who wants to get in touch with you or follow you, like, I got your IG right there. Any other source of social media they can get in contact with you?
Yeah, so actually, I'm gonna go ahead and correct you. So my Instagram is actually with a D. So it's Jaquan Grand with a D. So my real name is Jaquan Grant, but my actual artist name is Jaquan Grand with a D. I don't know if you guys can see it on the screen right here with the D. However, on all social media platforms, I mean, you can literally just go to Google and you can type in Jaquan Grand, and I'm pretty sure I will pop up on. Yeah, so
there we go.
So quick Jaquan Grand with the D. You will be able to see it on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, all the streaming sites. I also have a website, and the website is, which I may update as well, because my website is actually centered around me as an individual, but it also have all the other stuff I do. So my website is www.jaquangrant with a T. So how you just spelled it, my website. But I'm gonna update that just so everything can be a little bit more cohesive. But also, like we stated earlier, my app that's out right now, my daughter's app, is called Cali's Cleanup. That's CALI''S clean, like you cleaning up. Cali's Cleanup, and that's available on the iOS store. And I recently just released a short film and a music video called Anchor and No Answers. That's available on YouTube, and that's available on Facebook. So just go to YouTube, type in Jaquan Grand, Anchor, ANCHORED, and you will see that pop up. Or you can come to my Instagram and just click the link in my bio. You'll be able to see it.
All right. Well, again, man, thank you for being a part of the live stream. Going to be hitting you up later on. So, again, thank you, and I'm going to talk to you later, all right?
Okay, bro. Thank you, and congratulations.
All right. Thank you, man.
All right.
So now I'm going to go ahead and bring in my next guest of the duo of Yatesey Production, amazing duo. We got Sam and Joe. Going to go ahead and bring them in. How y'all doing?
Doing good. What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Just had the interview with Jaquan Grand, and now I got Yatesey Production. So off the rip, because I know y'all for like X amount of years now, and y'all always inspire me from, always being inspired by music, because not just on the production aspect, like with Sam, who's on the left, you know how to play the drum, but you also know the ins and outs of not just Logic, but Fruity Loops, and your way of, going from Fruity Loops to Logic to Fruity Loops is amazing to me. And then even with Joe on the right, from playing different instruments, from piano, bass, guitar, even drums at times. It's just amazing how y'all stay focused on where y'all trying to get to. So real quick, so let me go ahead and have y'all explain y'all background, how y'all started, and where y'all trying to get to now.
All right, well, I can go first, I guess. Nah, I started off playing music in church, like from just as a kid. Matter of fact, Sammy was with me. We used to like I used to play piano and he'd just be playing drums on like the different things, the different services that we have, and like every second Sunday, like the kids would play, right? And like we would play for that. And then, as I got older, I started like dabbling up into different instruments and stuff. But I didn't start like doing actual productions as far as like beats and stuff until I hit college or whatever. And that's me.
Yeah. So, like what he said, we grew up making music at church, like playing instruments at the church. And then once I hit college, someone introduced me to how to make beats. And I always wanted to do it. I just never knew that it was possible. Or I knew it was possible. I just didn't know how to do it until someone showed me how to do it. And then that became like a passion after that. Then I showed Joe not too long after that, like, Joe, look what I learned, man. We can make music in school. So I was doing that and just kept it going after that.
Yeah. And I remember years ago when you were starting off, when I was just going to SAE, I think it was before that, you was going to the school just to use Logic. And the thing is, you might be there for like X amount of hours, and then you just had to leave. You'd be like, I don't want to leave yet. But it just funny to see now, like having your own like in-house studio. You can just do whatever you want now without having to worry about time.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, like at first I was trying to balance school and making music. Then eventually I was like, man, I'm just gonna make music. And I eventually dropped out of school, just start doing that.
Yeah. And then even from there too, because I see because we talk on the phone a lot, and I just see since COVID, y'all been focusing more on the production aspect from, y'all using different plugins, y'all using different softwares, y'all trying different instruments. It's not just, creating trap, y'all actually creating different genres too, just to, broaden your horizon. So what inspired you to go ahead and start using because I know there's people who use Splice, but then also I know there's times I'll be listening to the bass. I'm like, is that Splice? Oh no, I play that live. Or I might hear a loop, I think it's a loop. I'm like, oh, that's from Splice? No, that's live drums. How do y'all incorporate, from live to Splice?
Okay, so some stuff, as far as Splice and free samples and stuff, or no royalty samples. Sometimes exactly what you're looking for, you can't necessarily find somebody else who did it, and you got to make it yourself. And then that's when all right, now I got to go up and actually play this stuff. And then a lot of times, the actual live instruments, the analog, end up sounding a lot better than digital instruments. There's certain frequencies and certain subtleties about live instruments that MIDI doesn't happen to have. But then again, there's certain things that I would have never even considered of thinking of that you will find on Splice, or that you can find on Arcade or something. These different plugins that allow
to expand your ideas. Right. I usually go there to get an idea, or I hear someone else's sample, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it my own. So I take it to a DAW and just mess with it to where it don't sound nothing like it, or it sounds just like it, and I just work around it. But it's an idea. It's a spot where you always have ideas, and you won't have to run out. And the reason you start making music was because you run out of ideas. You always have something. Look forward to doing if you're going to Splice Arcade or all these plugins.
Yeah, and then I do know with Splice, because I talk to a lot of producers who use it. Some of them use it as a start point. Like,
Right.
I just use Splice to like get a setting. Like, if
Right.
there's something I like a loop, I'm like, okay. And
Yeah,
then when they start creating like the foundation of the beat, they'll take the loop out and then they'll just put something else in it.
Yeah, I do that a lot too.
All the time.
So let me ask y'all this, because I see y'all in the session all the time. What is y'all I won't say like ritual, what's a method that y'all have that's consistent every time y'all link together? Because I know y'all both have your own in-house studio, but when y'all together in the same room, like how does that work out? What's something that y'all consistent with?
So a lot of times it's a schedule. So like we always meet up around a certain time. So whatever we do, whether it's like the business side or the music side, we always know we're gonna meet up at this time. Whether it's at one of our houses or at another place, we're like, all right, you want to meet up right here? All right, cool. And then a lot of times we can discover or come up with things when that comes, or we'll postpone stuff for the next day because we know we're gonna see each other the next day. So a lot of times just showing up.
Yeah, I know. As far as like the music side of it, I know a lot of times I'm focused on like melodies for the most part. Like I hear a note and I know what notes also go with that note. Depending on the instrument or whatever. A lot of times. Sam, he's really good at figuring out like drum patterns and stuff, and so that's one way we'll go about it, where we do it that way, where I'm focused on melodies and he's focused on drums. And then another way we'll go about it is like we'll create a whole, like I'll create a whole loop or he'll create a whole loop, and then I'll take it from there and like finish the beat, or he'll take it off of there and finish the beat, and we're working together with like full ideas instead of like just an instrument. It may be a whole part of the song that's already done, and then like the little things I add or the little things he add just gives it a whole different feel. Because like me, I'm very musical. All my stuff is really structured. Like, but Sam, he's more chaotic with the way he goes about it, right? And so like when you're listening to our music, a lot of times you just have you don't really know what to expect, especially because we don't stay in the same genre. So like you can get anything, honestly.
Okay, that makes sense. From scheduling, staying organized, making sure y'all meet at the same place. Because there's times like one producer gets there, the next producer be like, "Oh man, I'm running 30 minutes late." So it does help with knowing exactly when y'all schedule it, y'all staying consistent with it. And then because of y'all having two different genres, from structure to chaotic, it blends into like a musical masterpiece, which is amazing. Because when y'all came to the studio the other day and I heard y'all recent production, man, I had to call Dezzy up, like, Dezzy, man, you had to listen to this beat like right then and now. It was crazy, because like you want that kind of beat that just make like you smell something nasty, like like that face. That's when you have a hit. And it's just crazy from the start. When I first met y'all, like y'all was talented with the instruments itself, like playing live instruments, but when it came to the production, even Sam was saying like I still got a lot to learn. And now seeing where y'all at now, it's amazing, because y'all actually built your craft. You didn't just stop. You actually learn new plugins, learn new softwares, try to understand like if there's something that you didn't know. I always see Sam or JoJo like looking on YouTube or reading a post about like, okay, I want to make this sample reverse or something in that nature, or put a delay or a reverb on it. You always was willing to like learn something new and not stop it. So is there something recent that y'all probably learned new that you incorporate in your session?
I think for me now, like when I'm just thinking about plugins, right? I would always think about the stuff that I couldn't get, like the really expensive plugins. If I had this, my music gonna slap. This gonna be it, right? And then after a while, you start obtaining these different plugins or whatever, and he's like, they're just not hitting, right? But then there was a point in time where when I got my first setup, right, and I lost all the plugins that, you know, the mainstream, the big ones. I'm like, man, I don't know what to do, right? Because this is like where, and then so now I'm just using with standard Logic plugins, right? And then, but after learning how to manipulate the simple plugins, just the regular plugins or whatever, those, like, that production end up turning out way better than the production that I'm making with these complex plugins. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some amazing plugins out there, but if you learn how to manipulate what you got, then you can make some fantastic stuff. Like, it's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree on that too, because I tell anybody, if you're trying to learn how to mix or produce, start with the stock plugins in itself. Before you spend $1 on a plugin, go ahead and learn the basic, because it'll help you to get better. And then I remember it was this one quote. It wasn't really a quote. It was, I guess it is a quote. The guy said, would you rather have a multi-million-dollar studio with an amateur engineer, or would you want a basic studio with a professional engineer? Because the atmosphere itself is there. It's who's using the equipment. Just like you were saying, you know, you wanted to get all these top brand plugins and pay for it, but not even starting off with the basics. And then it kind of, you know, hand in hand, because when you start using the basic, you know, when you start spending money on the top plugins, you're like, oh yeah, it's just like the basics. So I just got to tweak this a little. Oh, okay. That's how I wanted it to sound.
True. Big facts. True.
Yeah. So I'd rather
another. Oh yeah, I'm listening.
No, I would say I'll choose a professional engineer with the standard setup. Cause like, man, I saw one video. It was a top artist, and they used standard Logic plugins and made a hit. I'm talking about like 200 million views on YouTube with standard Logic plugins. After that, after I seen that, it changed my whole method or idea around, like, I don't need this huge setup. If they can make a hit with the standard stuff, then I can make a hit with the standard stuff. Like, it kind of like reworked my mind. But my bad. What you saying?
No, I was just saying that I was agreeing with you with, you know, starting off with the basics. The basics, you know, the advanced stuff is going to be easy for you. If you go straight to the advanced, then, you know, the basics is going to seem so complicated.
True. You're right.
So another question I wanted to ask, okay, this is for both of y'all separate. Okay, so I need 5 favorite plugins or go-to plugins from Sam, and 5 favorite plugins or go-to from Joe. So Sam, you go ahead and start it off.
All right. So my first one gotta be Isotope Ozone 2. That's my favorite plugin, and it's free. And like the reason I like it so much, because you know what S1 imager is from Waves?
Yeah, the imager. Yeah, it's like panning from center. Yeah.
Yeah, so like it can space out your whatever you want to put in, like a drum, instrument, the whole track. You can spread it out or pan it. S1 imager, like, it spreads it out, but you can visually see it. So like you can see where it's going. You can see like what's going left, what's going right, and then you can make it to a stereo and spread the sound around. So you can make a hi-hat that's just going mono. You can spread that thing out. So I love that junk. I use it all the time. The cool thing about it, let's say you have some drums, you don't know if it's mono or stereo. You can put that under. You can put that on the channel, and then you can see if it's mono or stereo. So it's like it can help you check things, and also so it won't just be like, you know what I mean? It just it fills your ear up. So I like that plugin. Yeah. Another plugin I like is a plugin from Logic. It's called EQ Tube. It's on the new Logic update, and it helps it helps saturate it. It helps saturate the tracks, or it can help saturate your instruments. And also it could bring lows, it can tame lows, it can tame highs, you can duck the mids. And then another one I like, EQ. The standard Logic EQ. I use that thing all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing how important that is. And the multi-presser, that jump is amazing. And it's a plugin called IG something. It's a saturation plugin. Like it's like the EQ tube, but its whole purpose is to saturate your track. So that junk. Once we saw that on YouTube, it was like, oh yeah, we need that, and it's free.
It has harmonics.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? 5? Let me see. 4. I could do
No,
one.
I think that was 5. Wait, you said isotope ozone 2. You said the S1 imager. You said that what, EQ2?
EQ2, just EQ. You know the EQ you got on Logic.
Yeah.
EQ.
And you said a multi-band compressor.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the multi-presser.
And yeah, I guess one more.
And then that saturation one.
Okay, so yeah, that's 5 right there. Okay. Yeah, I love saturation too, especially. Oh wait, yeah. Actually, I remember you used to use the Kramer tape so much. The Waves plugin.
I still use it. I kind of ventured off of it just because I'm like, I want to learn how to do what I want without having to use, you know what I mean, the Kramer tape. I want to see if I get the same effect with different plugins. And once I started doing that, I realized, there's different plugins out there that can give me what I want or a different sound. You know what I mean? Kramer tape's still good, but there's other plugins that I'm using a lot more recently.
You can get stuck in that box.
I feel like I was getting stuck in a box a lot. Like I do that just to get back to how I used to make music, but the new stuff I've been using, and then but that's my 5 for right now.
Okay. So Joe, what are your 5 go-tos or your favorites?
Okay. All right. So I really like Native Instruments Transient Master, and so that's for like when I'm just whatever instrument I'm working with. A lot of times, like when it comes in, it come in too harsh, or like the plugs, the attacks are just too strong, right? And I normally use that to kind of like calm it down a bit on like the different instruments, just because like a lot of times I want a little bit more of a chiller vibe, like the Transient Master. If I can turn the attack down with that to make it like a lot more chiller without having to do a whole bunch. Like that's an easy way to go about it. I like S1 Imager, like he said, a lot. I use that for instruments as well, especially if you end up using like a lot of instruments and you're panning and stuff. You're kind of running out of space to put stuff. Like I can throw S1 Imager on it, and move it around and find an area to throw that sound in with that as well. I like Alchemy. Like I feel like it's really underrated just for as far as Logic, man.
Oh yeah, the stock plugin. Yeah, I love Alchemy. That's how I started off, like producing with Sam when I tried to produce. Yeah.
Alchemy's that's crazy. Like I end up finding some really good sub bass sounds and like different by like manipulating like the different things you can make some cool bass sounds with that. Okay, let me see. What is that? That's 3. Give me a standard EQ every time, just because that jump. Once you learn how to manipulate an EQ,
Bro, once I learned how to take bad frequencies off of a sound by using EQs, I'm like, oh man.
And like you'll be surprised at how many bad frequencies, like how many annoying sounds
like ring in your ear.
The ringing in your ears, the low miss,
And then like when you first start, you don't hear it, but like after you keep
After
on
you notice it,
after you notice it, you can't unnotice it.
Yeah,
Like, it's always gonna hurt your ears. Like, yeah.
So we use battery for it all the time.
Boy,
yeah, that's a go-to.
I gotta say battery.
Oh
my God.
I'm mad that I missed it, but I'm like, man,
battery is crazy. Like, man, as far as just kind of when you have different sounds that's not like from Logic, if I'm taking a sound, you know, other than that, throw it into battery is really easy to manipulate and organize that sound in battery and change the pitch and like the tone, like all of it.
Man,
battery is super convenient for that.
Yeah, I love battery too. There's so much you can do, especially if you have like a big drum pad. You can manipulate it to like, okay, the kicks on the top row, hi-hat, snare, and then even within the drum pad on battery, you can like you said, change the pitch. You can like change the effects of it, compress it. It's so much you can do on battery, which is crazy. So yeah, that is a go-to.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that's y'all 5. So let me ask y'all this, because I do know y'all not just producers too. Y'all basically engineers too, because y'all like record samples of your own vocals. Y'all put it in your production, use it as a sample. Is that something that how did that come about? You know, recording and creating your own samples.
Man, this probably happened
like
years ago.
Early. Because like with me, once I start making music, you're looking up YouTube videos on how to get your ideas or how to make music. So like when I first started, I'm like, how do you make a kick? So I go on YouTube, and while I'm doing that, I come across somebody like how to sample. And they tell you how to flip a sample, how to reverse it, how do you make it, like how Kanye, he got like a song and then he chop it up and then he can make an instrument off of it. So like you seeing those while you looking for how to make an actual beat. So like in the process of learning how to make a beat, you learn how to make samples just off the rip. So knowing how to sample is like part of beat making, and that's a lot of times what we do when we're using Splice or Arcade, or we hear a sample on YouTube that we want to flip. You know, use samples like remixing samples that we learned on YouTube or just from people telling us or showing us how to do it. We just incorporate that.
A lot of times, like for me, there'll be certain sounds that you hear in your head and be like, man, you know, if they had a singer to go like, right here, it hit. And then like, so then you get your mic, and then you like make it different little noises or whatever. And then it ends up filling out the beat because it has the sound that you want. Right. And then it's just, but then after you make that sound, whatever that sound that you made, a lot of times you gotta know how to manipulate it to get the sound that it's in your head out.
Facts. If you know how to edit your vocals, sky's the limit. If you know how to edit anybody's vocal or edit a sample, like make somebody sound like they know how to sing, then you can make you sound good. You can make yourself sound good. And
it's to the point like right now we just start making like, man, you know, let's just make a song. This is just gonna be a joke or whatever, where we'll take something that's trash, like, or just something that is just, you know, this would be a fun sound, a song to make, and we'll make it for fun, and then we'll make an actual whole production out of it or whatever. And then now we have certain things that we're gonna take out of that track and put it in a whole bunch of other tracks.
Right. Exactly. Because I remember it was a session y'all did here, and it was random. It was a fidget spinner and like a piece of plywood. And or was it no, it was drywall. So basically I remember JoJo, he was so precise. He had the drywall in his hand, and I spit the fidget spinner. He's looking at the drywall like, because he didn't want the drywall to hit the microphone, but you want it close enough that you get like the full sound of it. We was quiet too. It was fun to do though. It was a process of trying something new, because we was like, okay, let's see how this will sound, and y'all made a production out of it, which was crazy.
Yeah, we did it not too long ago. We went to your house and we were just singing "Yes, Sir," and we was like, we're gonna make something out of this. So it's
y'all made something out of it?
Yeah,
we'll show you when we come through. We'll show you what we got.
Oh yeah, I can't wait though. But yeah, it's just a process of like trying something new. Matter of fact, I can see in the near future Yatesey Production creating like its own sample pack from like this one friend of mine. I think it was Armin. He actually created his own sample pack by walking around the house with a microphone and start recording. Like, open the door, let it slam, tapping the glass with a fork, clapping, making his own sounds coming from that.
Right. Oh yeah.
It's in the works.
That's definitely an interesting sample pack right there. Like, yeah. But yeah, we'll make our own. It'd be dope.
Yeah. So another thing, so for someone who wants to get in touch with Yatesey Production for like production or collaboration, how would they get in touch with you?
We got an email, yateseyproductions@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on IG. Like, we ain't big yet, so the DMs we have, like, we can see it. So, just hit us up on IG or email, and then we can get to work.
Oh yeah, you can also check us out on YouTube at Yatesey Productions. Like, we just put up our first video like 3 months ago. It's at like 10K right now. Like, so.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we're gonna keep on putting up content. It's gonna be crazy. So
yeah. Well, real quick, I would just want to say
stuff that we coming out with for real.
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Actually, we're gonna be. Yeah, y'all gonna come through soon, so we can link up on the next thing we're gonna do. But I just want to say thank y'all for giving me your time to come into the live stream, have a talk with y'all about y'all background and what y'all doing now. So I just want to say thank you for that.
No problem, man. No problem. Thanks for having us.
All right, no problem. Thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and link up with y'all later. I'll call y'all later on. All right.
All right, cool. Take it easy.
Hi, see ya. Okay, so that was our guest, Yatesey Production with Sam and Joe. Talented producers. Y'all should get in touch with them, especially if you're looking for like creative production, not just on the aspect of just using just Logic or Fruity Loops, using the plugins in there, actually playing live instruments, and also making instruments, from the fidget spinner and the drywall. That's amazing in itself. But not to take away from, the in-the-box plugins. It's good if you know what you're doing. Just like we was talking about using, a multi-million-dollar studio to basic studio, depending on the engineer who's using it, or even a producer who's using like a keyboard. You could get like a $2,000 like Trident or a Korg, and have a basic piano player or someone who don't understand music theory, and they can't even create a good beat from it at all. So that's some things you got to think on in that aspect. But before I forget, go ahead and go to the website right now. You can go ahead and get your free stock mix template for Pro Tools. That's for anybody who's trying to understand the basic. All you gotta do, as soon as you download it, you check out. We'll send you the link, and when you download it, all you gotta do, open the zip file. You click the Pro Tools template, and Pro Tools will open up. And the next thing you know, you can import your session, import your instruments, your vocals, your drums, whatever you have. And you can use this as your go-to template. And if you need to, you can update it to how it's comfortable for you. But the inputs and output is already set up, so you can use it off the rip. Going to be coming out with more mixed templates in the near future. But this is something free to show you. Thank you for actually listening to the video, listening to the live stream, listening to the podcast, reading the blog, buying our products. So just a way of saying thank you, especially YL. He couldn't be here right now. Like I said, he's right now in a session. So it's a private session, so we can't, put him on the live stream, especially with the artists he's working with. We got a lot in the works still. And then right now we're waiting on our next guest, Dezzy De Niro. He is a very talented artist. I know him for a couple of years now. I met him through Henry at Smoke Rise Studios. He came to a few events with me. Introduced him to some of my connects. He introduced me to some of his connects, and it was just like a very positive vibe. Just knowing for the fact that he was somebody that I didn't mind like working with long term, because depending on the individual you work with, it can either be a good thing or a bad thing. And like I'm really honored actually bringing our next guest in. Dezzy De Niro, so let me go ahead and bring him in right now. So, what's up, man?
Good with y'all? Everything good, bro. What's up?
Man, wonderful, wonderful. Just letting them know a little bit about you from, being, a talented artist, always focused, from us meeting at Smoke Rise Studios with Henry to where you are now, from, being in articles, got a single with Schoolie. It's just a lot you've been doing and staying focused, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. That single is Schoolie going up right now. Dezzy De Niro, yeah. Perfect Imperfection, if y'all ain't heard it. For sure.
Yeah. And then I like the music video too. That was very creative, I must say.
Appreciate it, bro.
So what did the idea come from? Let's start off with that.
Okay. I got with my director and like creative director behind the video. I played him the song and everything, and I was just telling him I wanted to do a video, of course, but like something different, something that'll stand out. So we came up with the like school scene, like Schoolie was featured on the song. So it was kind of like, dope and made sense. And just something like fun for the kids and like something they could connect to, and like something they going through, especially like the young kids, they kind of, going through that kind of little phase in their life and everything, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it was cool how we did it at the beginning, like when Shawty wasn't feeling me, and then like, she came back around when she saw, I was piped up and everything. So it was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the visual too, because it wasn't like a low budget, because it looked like high quality. And, of course, you got to invest in yourself with, from when you like writing your verse to paying for the production to recording to actually having the vision for the video, putting everything you put in that project in the video. I saw it all. So, again, man, no problem, man. Thank you for, creating content that is like pleasing to the eyes, because I see videos of people just, they make it like they might be in the kitchen doing something stupid. The quality's bad. The scenes don't make sense. But when I watch a video, it makes sense. So that's a plus on the aspect of like understanding where the start of the script and where it's going to go to.
I see that too all the time, bro. That's what I don't be want to do with my music videos. It's like, you know what I'm saying? Not to throw no shots or no shades, nobody who do that, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? We get the homies to stand around with the sticks and show the money all day, but everybody doing that. So if you're going to stand out, you got to do something different. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And even with that, because we had a talk before the live stream about like how you connect with people, because like I know some people automatically wondering like how do you get a feature with Schoolie? And you was telling me on the background of how that happened. So go ahead and explain, how did it start off?
Well, shout out to my boy Ross, man. H.Ross on all his social media. But that's Howard Ross, the creative director of Street Execs, and I've been knowing him for years. He done did a lot of visual artwork for me, music videos and graphic design. And you know what I'm saying? I just always wanted to work with Schoolie. So by him being at Street Execs, I hit him up and was like, I want to work with Schoolie, and he just made it happen for me. So you know what I'm saying? That just love and knowing the right people.
Yeah. Especially like, your face card means everything, because if you do someone dirty, X amount of years go by, you see that same person and you be like, oh man, why I do that? And that just shows you for like the work you put in with him. He automatically got in touch with Schoolie, and then Schoolie did it off the rip, because like, I know there's a lot of artists. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like quick, like made it happen.
Yeah. Because I know there's artists who be like, well, I know he's cool with you, but I don't know. I don't want to work with him. Like, there's people who are like that, who don't really like to work outside of people they don't know. But it just shows that, Schoolie and the director that, and he was a part of Street Execs too. And he just made it happen off the strength of, just knowing you for all these years and y'all working together. And it was just like a form of a partnership that it can, go as high as, the next single might be 2 Chainz. Who knows?
Never know, you know what I'm saying? I know he could make that happen for me too. It's all about having that rapport, you know what I'm saying? Me and Ross got a good rapport. So it's like,
yeah. And if it makes sense too, because like when you had the single with Schoolie, you had the music video, you have content for it instead of just like, hey man, I want to get you on this single.
well, do nothing with it, you know.
Yeah, you got to do something with it. I know some people who like have singles with like mainstream artists haven't put it out yet, and they had the single for like 5-6 years, so it's old. Yeah. But one thing about the music industry was old to you. If they didn't hear it, it's new to everybody else.
For sure.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, because I know you be at multiple studios. I know you have a session with Henry. Did it happen yet? I don't know, because I remember I was supposed to go to it
next weekend. Nah, we was supposed to be working next weekend. Bro, be busy on me now.
Yeah, I've been telling Henry he needs to like get another engineer. He needs to start like training somebody. I know he has an assistant, but like he's gonna have to outsource like his project. I remember the last time I talked to him, I was like, "Hey man, what's up?" Man, I got 19 songs to mix. I'm like, damn.
That's how it starts off. Cause like on Summit on 19, I'm waiting on some shit up.
Yeah, but but it showed his value, because of course, like you can have anybody mix it, but if you have that like trust in an engineer, because that's the artwork you bring into the world too. So, and then he has good quality too. He know what he's doing. He has a great mentor, Justin Padron. Shout out to Justin.
Shout out to Padron.
Yeah, but one thing I respect about Henry, even though he has 19 mixes, he mixes so quick because his ears are used to the room and he know what he's doing. So the next session that you do have, how many songs are you going to be recording, or is it just like a vibe scene?
Really just a vibe scene, bro. I ain't even gonna cap you down. I haven't planned to do a song in like years. I just show up to the studio, the beats get played, I just go and record, man. Okay.
Yeah, everybody has their own method. Like some people, they have like 4 or 5 songs already written. Some go to the studio, go
I do got like 3. I got 3 features I know I got to do for people. 3 or 4 that people that you know what I'm saying, then reached out for me to do. So I got to knock those out. But besides that, I don't even know what's going on, bro. Man, we always make some fire stuff though.
Yeah, that's why I love like the energy of a session, because all you gotta do, some people be thinking too much into it, like, okay, as soon as we go in, we gotta do this, do that. Nah, just like walk in the studio, actually feel the presence of, being locked in for like, even if it's like 2-3 hours, stay locked in. Some people be pressured like, man, I gotta do all this, and just, enjoy the vibe.
Yeah, for real. That's when you probably gonna make the best music though. Like,
oh yeah.
Like that perfect imperfection, it just came. Like we made that song in 14 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like it was one of them.
Nice. And then one thing I want to ask you, because I know you be in the studio, is there anything that I would say it could be a ritual or like a consistent method that you do every time you in a session?
Not really. Nah, I can't even say that. Nah, I just bow out to the beats. Not even. Ain't nothing consistent as far as like, nah. I wish though. I ain't gonna say I wish, you know what I'm saying? Because it worked for me. I don't have it's weird because some people do.
Yeah. But it's what works for you though, because some people walk in the studio with sages, like they light it up, have the whole place smoking. Some people
gotta have a blunt or some liquor or something. So, I ain't even got like that. Ain't even no necessity every time for me. None of that. It just be as long as I got the beat, bro, the 5 engineer, bro, I'm a rock, bro.
Hey, that's your method right there. Like 5 beats, 5 engineer. If you're missing one of those, I don't think you can create a hit.
Gonna take off. Yeah, if I'm missing one of them, it might not work out, bro.
Let me ask you this: has there ever been a session that you walked out of, like the vibe wasn't right?
Nah. I done had, to answer your question though, not like give no good answer. I done had like people but come in and try to visit, you know what I'm saying? They probably ain't even visiting me, they just visiting, like they might be visiting the engineer or somebody, that'll throw me off. Well, not even throw me off. They be extra weird. I done had some extra weird people come in, like, he gotta go. Like, but nah, I ain't never had to leave or walk on or just my feeling.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie. I had to walk out of a few when it passed because like you could feel the energy. Like, yeah, this not gonna work out. Automatically, I was in the session and I just felt like no one was focused. Everybody was just drinking, smoking. No one was in the booth. Like the session was paid for. It was like a 12-hour block.
Yeah.
And I was there for like 3 hours and there was nothing productive being done. And I had to leave because if it's not productive, what's the point of even staying there?
That's a waste though. But I feel like only though, I ain't even gonna say big artists do that, but artists, I'm gonna just say professional artists because they got them bread. If you booking a 10-hour session, you spending bread. And a lot of times it don't even be them out of pocket paying for it. They people be like, they manager or label be to pay for it. So they just, you know what I'm saying? It'd be more probably like of a work day to them at that point. I'm still hungry for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm still underground. So like that ain't gonna ever happen with me on just like wasting studio time. That's like me wasting my resources. I'm wasting my time and money. So that's crazy.
Yeah, but it was an independent label too though.
Oh, for real? Wow. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because at the time, of course, like depending on if you working on a collaboration with somebody, if they're paying for the session or if they, write it off, if they have a signed artist, people do that all the time, independent and major, just so they can get, save a lot for the company. But there's times I walk in the studio and there's nothing being done. It's just everybody just chilling, not even producing, no recording, no mixing. It's just like a club scene. It just
see, like me, I love my homies, but like if you ain't it, like I be moving by myself a lot of times anyway. So it's like if you ain't finna be contributing to the song or the beat, I really ain't no need for you to be at the studio because it's like unless you one of my homies is like want to rap or something, and then of course you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna bring you along and show you everything I know. But like just to be hanging out, there ain't no hangout spot for me. Like you distracted me if you ain't like I don't want to walk out the booth and you all in your phone, you talking and like you taking away from the vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is true.
Like, I read most sessions I be in there by myself, just me and the engineer.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I do recommend that. So when you vibing out with the engineer, right? Do you, because like you were saying, you usually vibe out to the beat, do you just like walk in the studio itself and just record as soon as you hear it, or do you take a minute or two to listen to it?
Either way, and it depends on the beat. Sometimes it takes me so much, it'll trigger an idea or a thought, and I could just go right off. Or sometimes I'd be like, I like that beat. I don't know what I want to say yet. Let me listen to it for a little bit, like you just said.
Yeah. Okay. And then I do know, like, Perfect Imperfection was produced by Jay Padron and Ace Taylor. Yeah, good friends of mine. Like, I remember I met Ace at 882 back in the day, and like he's an amazing producer. How's that vibe? Was it like a session y'all produced it together, like, or was it a beat you just heard like, oh yeah, I like it?
Beat I just heard, I was like, I like it, and I think that might have been, it was either that one or another song I ain't even dropped yet. One of the first beats Ace had made for me, bro. And we've been rocking ever since. Like he my favorite producer, bro. Like he know exactly what type of beat I need, bro. Like he'll text me a beat. It's the perfect beat. Like he never missed with me. Like,
yeah, he's like my favorite out of Justin, Henry, and Taylor. Yeah, Taylor's like, I don't know. It's something about the ominous vibe of like how he put the 808 in
melodies. Like he crazy, bro. Like he 808s too, bro. He just crazy, bro. And then it's like him and like the collab beats, like him and Padron, or you like him and Henry. Like I can tell which ones they collab on. They be crazy, bro. That boy Taylor hard. He hard.
Yeah, and then Henry was telling me like more than half of his beats him and Taylor produced together. I'm like, yeah, that's a good partnership right there, though.
Yeah, for real.
So
like, me and Ace, we're gonna be like the new Metro and Future, bro. Y'all gotta watch out for that, for real.
Or Metro and Savage, 21.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, I just listened to Savage Mode 2, actually.
I ain't heard the whole thing, but what I heard, I like. He did it.
Yeah, Metro always be coming in with the production. It's crazy. But yeah, I can see that though. Like I do recommend that for people who are artists. Like either have a long-term relationship with a producer or a long-term relationship with an engineer. Just like Drake. Drake and 40. 40 is his engineer, his producer, executive producer, because not only is he funding the project, he's putting his time in. Now that's something that's big. A lot of people don't really like take into consideration. Like the time you put into a project is more valued than the money you put in my opinion.
Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah. And then the last thing before you get off, like if anybody wants to get in touch with you for like a collab, feature, article, how would they get in touch with you other than the IG that's down there, Dezzy Dinero?
Other than the IG, email the label is adam@dineroglobal.ent.com. That's the email if you're trying to get in touch with me for any bookings or collabs, like he just said. That's Adam, ADAM @dineroglobal.ent.com. You did.
Okay. Well, first off, I just want to say, thank you for coming on the live stream. Let me get a little bit of your time, talk to you about what you've been doing, what you're going to do, and all that, man. So thank you.
For sure, bro. Anytime, bro, it's a blessing and honor to me, man. You're my brother, though. So anytime you need me, I'm coming through, bro.
Oh, yeah. And who knows, I might pop up to the session next weekend, man, possibly.
You did, for sure.
All right, man. Well, I'll talk to you later, all right?
All right, for sure.
All right, man. All right, so that was the artist, Dezzy Dinero, very talented artist. So that was all of our guests today from Port Up Sip, Katonthemuv, Jaquan Grand, Yatesey Production with Sam and Joe, and Dezzy. I just want to say thank you for everybody who's watching the live stream. And like I was saying, if you want to go ahead and go to REBELEARS.com by 8 o'clock tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put out the 50% discount for either the Slime preset pack or the 420 preset pack. And the way to get that, all you got to do is go to my IG at rebelears.ray, REBLEARS.ray. Go ahead and DM me 50% off pack. 50% off pack, and I'll go ahead and DM you the code for it. But it's going to be a limited supply. We're going to have it for at least, let's say Sunday midnight. Okay. So that's a few hours that people have enough time to like hit me up. And then we might extend it possibly, but just letting you know, it's going to be until tomorrow midnight for you to go ahead and get the 50% off the preset pack. But other than that, just want to tell everybody thank you for watching the live stream of the second part of the Rebel Ears plugin. Go to the website at rebelears.com, read the blogs, listen to the podcast, and stay connected. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, thank you for listening. Keep tuning in.